אני שואל, אם יש כפתור במיקרופון צריך לפתור. לא, אוקיי. עם זה אני לא שומע.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Snir. We're going to start soon in a few minutes, just sound checks before we start. So please just let me know, write on the chat box if you can hear me and everything is fine. Do you see the screen also? Right, excellent. Thank you, Nick. Okay, I will wait another 2 minutes and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so hi again. Welcome to our trading room for this week. We're opening this week. Today it's Monday, and I am Snir. As usually every Monday, I broadcast this trading room, and probably you already know for some of you that know me, or for some of you that don't. Usually on Monday, I'm taking the time to do some technical analysis for the upcoming days for this week. From the from the long-term perspective, swing traders downs to the short terms and scalping opportunity and intraday and anything between. And usually, as probably you already know, by the way, once again, can you see my screen and anything and hear my voice good enough? Okay, thank you. All right, so just to remind you, not usually, I trade only by supply demand levels, which at least from my experience and from my trading of years of trading of experience, it's the most professional way to understand the price. I do believe also that if you don't really deeply understand the price movement, then you don't have any chance to succeed as a trader. I trade only mostly rely on supply demand levels, which is the most critical levels. At least that's what I think. And those levels reflects the unfilled orders that left behind in the bank systems by the large institutes like hedge funds, public funds, federal banks, public banks, and on and on. Anything that represents smart money. So that's how I trade. As you can see, I don't use any indicators, any oscillators. I don't really believe in these tools. I believe in one tool, which is the price himself, and that's how I trade what's called naked charts. So that's the best way, at least from my opinion, that's the best way to analyze the charts, to understand the price, to get decision with the logic behind it, with the ability to explain why do you doing this and this, why do you choose to buy here and sell there, why do you set the stop loss at the same level as you set, and why is the take profit here and there. So understanding supply and demand levels will provide you all the picture you need to become a profitable trader. It provides you not only the level to buy or sell, which is usually the the only things that as a trader we are focused in, where to buy and where to sell, and as fast as we can. We always looking for opportunities, and we don't really consider most of the time. I'm talking about, you know, many of the traders. We don't really consider before we enter the trade, okay, where are we going to set the stop loss? Why do we set the stop loss there? What will be the target and why? And how are we going to manage this trade? And many more questions that need to be answered before we only buy and sell. So supply demand levels will provide you the whole picture you need, not only supply, not only where to buy or where to sell. It will give you the indication where to set your stop loss, where to set your target, and everything will be with a logic and the explanation behind it. Okay, and how to manage your position, when to roll your stop loss, and on and on. So that's how I trade. That's usually how I analyze the charts, uh, mostly by supply and demand levels. Just one thing to make it clear: supply and demand, it's not support and resistance. Okay. If some of you need an explanation about the difference, so just write it down on the chat box. And generally, if you have any questions, be my guest and write your questions, please, on the chat box. I'll do my best to answer all your questions. So it's not support resistance, it's different levels. I mean, it can be the same level, but it's a different situation in the price. Okay, so by the way, you can also pick the pairs that you prefer to analyze. If you have something that you prefer to, that I will take the time and look for it and analyze it together with you. So just write it down on the chat box and I'll do it. Okay. I'll start with a one open position I have about for this pair. All right, I'll go to the euro dollar soon. This is the US dollar against the Swiss. I choose to open here the buy position because of the demand here on the left. Also, the price seems like the price touched this level here and here and here. And by the way, that's the difference. After the price touched this demand and check this demand few times, it became support. It's not demand anymore, but from my experience, I believe in this situation, I do admit it's a bit risky situation in position, but from my opinion, the fact that the price dig a bit deeper here still can get react from this demand. Okay, so I took the chance here. It's not the perfect setup, a bit risky, but I took the chance here and open a buy position. Okay, on this pair, the US dollar against the Swiss. Also because I think, sorry, back to the 15 minutes, I think that because of this movement here from the left, that's one, I do believe it created a bullish momentum compared to this one on the left. And once the price reached that level or here, I think that this movement is kind of a signal that we have a good chance to see the price go all the way up to this supply or this one. So I don't think that's the final destination of this bullish developed momentum. Okay, I do believe the price tends to reach a bit higher, this or this maybe, and therefore I decided to use this demand again. Not again, I mean, even if the price touched this demand a few times, here the price dig a bit deeper than the other checked here on the left. So I took the chance here. Again, not the perfect setup usually, and the whole idea in supply and demand level is to trade only at the first time the price touch these levels. Okay, so that's the situation here. I'll wait and see what's going on here soon. Just from a long-term perspective, that's the 4H time frame on this pair. That's the daily time frame. I also believe in the daily time frame that we need to get some reaction from this level. We already get something, as you can see, this blue candle here. That was the first touch, the price touch at this demand from the left. But I won't be surprised if the price will decide to go a bit deeper and something here, and maybe here we're going to get another reaction. So that can be also the situation. By the way, if the price will go deeper to this level, I'll consider to open another buy position there from the long-term perspective. And here's the level in the 4H time frame. As you can see, I'll put it even like this, maybe something like this. Okay, it seems like demand level, and I'll definitely use it if the price get there. 1H time frame, I think we already covered all the options in the US dollar against the Swiss because we just started with this 15 minutes chart with this open position. So we will be back to this pair later on to see what's going on. And okay, just let me read the questions. Well, you ask if you have setup in my mind and it's look like it's going to be hit overnight. If I leave the limit orders overnight, or well, it's a good question, and it depends also which pair is this. But usually, and of course, it depends if you are a long-term trader or short-term trader. You know, if you are a scalper or intraday trader, of course that a slippage or widespread during the rollover market can be significant with a, even if it's 5, 6, 7, 8 pips. If you are a long-term trader that willing to hold this position for a few days or maybe few weeks with a target of few hundred of pips, I don't think it's that significant if at the rollover time you'll get some widespread or a bit slippage. So it really depends. Okay. Well, usually Lucien asked, what do you recommend for entry confirmation or pending order? I tell you what, usually if I'm in front of the charts, I set the pending orders already in the system. I mean, if I'm willing to sell here at the top, I will put the sell limit. And from my experience, and of course it's only the way I used to trade, and still sometimes, if I'm not in front of the charts, let's say that it's becoming evening and night, I delete all the orders and set them again at the morning of the next day. That's usually how I prefer, because you can never know what's going to go, what's going to happen during the night. So if I'm in front of the chart, so I can set the limit orders and for a few positions, and not always looking for, if it's a good supply and strong supply or demand, I will prefer to act on the first touch. And in that case, I'll set this limit orders. Okay. All right, so the next one will take the euro against the dollar. I did publish this idea on our trading idea page on the website. Sorry, okay, and as you can see, the meaning of this, by the way, I'm in the 1H time frame. The meaning of this line I marked, it's first of all, both are support levels. You can see here we have support. The original demand is here from the left. You can see it. Okay, these few candles, and then the price ran away. That was the first touch. That was the second touch. Let's call it second and a half. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what was demand in the past became, after a few times of the price check this level, became support level. And also this level at the bottom here, it's all these touches, it's a reaction of this demand from the left. That's the original demand. This is touch and another touch, even almost breaking out, and another one, and anyway it became support level. The idea here was, if the price will break out this level, this support, then we will probably gonna see the price continue all the way down to the next support. Okay, now it doesn't mean that if we're gonna see this breakout, the price immediately will fall down to the next available one. That's not the point. That's not the idea here. But if the price breaking out this level, I will look for some new supply, or usually I will look for some new supply that the price created on its way down in order to join this movement. Okay, so let's try to imagine in this case that the price did something like this. Okay, that's convenience enough as a breakout. And then during his way down, the price creates some new supply, let's say here. Okay, so I will let the price correct and check this new supply from the left. Okay, just a scenario. Sell on the first touch, because I believe that if we already get there, okay, we are most likely on the way to continue down and hopefully to see something like this. Okay, that's the idea. That's the confirmation zone. If the price breaking out this level, my conclusion will be that most likely we will see the price continue down to the next critical level. At this case, it's the next support below. Okay, we can never know if it's going to be like this straight away or like the way I just described here. Okay, so that's the idea. As you can see, the price still didn't break out this support but still didn't create a new high. So I still think it's a valid situation. It still can happen. And if it happened, anything we just describe and talk about now, it's still valid. So that's the euro dollar. I'll go to the daily time frame. I think we mentioned, and I did mark this last time. You can see this top level. Seems like we have nice supply there. Let's see how it looks on the 4H time frame, just to remember. And here it is. So at this level, if the price get there, I'll definitely consider to sell on the first touch. If I was long trader, swing trader, also if I was a intraday or short-term trader, you can let the price get there and then look for confirmation from the 5 minutes or 15 minutes time frame. Okay, but I do believe that we will see some reaction once the price get to this top. This is how it looks in the daily charts. Again, I do believe we will get some reaction from that level. Okay, I think the 15-minute chart will give us the same conclusion. Great level for scalpers, by the way. A bit risky because the price don't have any momentum at the moment in this time frame. As you can see, it's a 1 day down, 1 day up, down and up. But you can see the reaction for this supply. Okay, these few small candles and the continuation of this drop. And so far it's just a few pips, but 12 pips, 10 pips, but for scalpers it's good enough, I think. But this is how it works. Look at this rally. The price created new demand here at the bottom. That's the first touch. Okay, that's the continuation. You'll find this situation many times. Okay, look at this supply here. This is the first touch. Of course, not every supply and demand level works. The price many times breaking out this support and demand, supply and demand levels. Okay, nothing works for 100%. But as you can see, most of the time these levels react. Okay, we will get, and many times it's not only react, you can get a very nice movement from that level. And the best idea is that you risk only the supply or the demand level, which is usually a very tight levels. Okay, take this one as an example. The price created small demand, which good for the intraday scalpers. This is the first touch. Okay, you only need to risk this level, because if the price breaking out this demand, you don't need to be in this position anymore. You don't want to be in this position anymore. And that was the reaction. Okay, it's only 10 pips all the way up to the last top, but consider to a scalpers, very short-term traders, it's what we are looking for. Okay, so that's how it works. Supply that created by the price, first touch. I think in this case that will be much more clear. All right. Wonder if this supply already checked. I think it's this one that the price just react. No. You can see how it looks. Okay. 2.5 candles that represent the struggling between the buy orders and the sell orders, and then the price, the amount between these orders get to the point of the huge imbalance, and you see the price drop down. That's the supply. And okay, that was the first reaction here. By the way, this one is broke out, as you can see here, but the one at the one above works fine so far. All right. So, any questions, guys? You ask if 1.2011 is a demand. I'll check it out. Let me check if we do have demand levels there. $1.20. Oh, I need a 4H time frame. That's right. That's a great demand for the 4H time frame. At least from this time frame, 4H time frame, it looks like a nice demand. And if the price gets there, of course, I'll consider to buy on the first touch. But so far, we are still far from this level at the moment. So, but you can wait for the price to get there and buy on the first touch. I'm sure that if the price gets there, it will create probably a sell opportunity on his way down. But it is a demand, at least from these time frames. I always suggest to go lower with the time frames to this level and make sure that the price really run away from that level. Okay. All right. So that's the case here for the euro dollar. And the next one we'll take, it's, I'm not sure we discussed about the pound dollar, I don't think. Let's take the pound against the dollar. Start with a higher time frame. As you can see, the price created, it seems like demand. This is the reaction. This previous demand, that's the first touch. This is the daily. The price didn't make it to create a new high. You can see it's about the same level. And we cannot call this double top yet. Only if the price will break down this low between these two tops, only then we can call this double top. For now, that's not the situation. By the way, a few scenarios according to this time frame, the daily time frame. If the price will create the double top and will break out this low in the middle, then most likely we will see the price go all the way down, maybe to this level and even lower here or here, because below this one, below this low, we have nothing on the left that can hold the price. We have no level which hold unfilled orders, at least from what we can see on this chart. We have this tiny rally which already checked, and this one already checked, and this one already checked. And as you can see, all this movement, the price always corrects down to collect orders and continue up and down and up and down. So below this level, nothing here from the left, at least from what I see, can hold the price and can deny the price from continuing down all the way down. Maybe here we can see some nice rally and the price didn't get there yet to check. So it's maybe here or even lower. Of course, again, if the price break out this level, it doesn't mean that immediately the price will continue down all the way. Okay, it can be something like this, and then correction to collect some orders from the new supply that the price created maybe, and then continuation. But this is for the very long-term perspective, and we are still far from this situation. Okay, so 4H time frame, by the way, I'm really curious to see what, I think we already discussed this. We are here on a resistance level, as you can see. According to this weekly chart, it's not supply, it's resistance. The price already checked this level here and here, and here, and now again. Probably somewhere here at the top of this in this weekly chart, we will find some new supply that the price didn't check yet. Something at the top, the very top here. All right. For scalper, intraday, short-term trader, whatever you call it, I think we do have a nice supply level here to take some short position, sell position for the short term, and here. This is how it looks in the 5 minutes. This is the 1 minute chart. I would risk all this level maybe. I think the price might continue up and check the upper one, this one maybe. Let's back to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, this one. So if the price get there, I definitely consider to sell on the first touch and risk all this stop here, this level. Okay, and here again, if the price get there, of course. All right. Okay, what's going on with our dollar against the Swiss? When the price doing something like this, okay, usually when I don't get what I want and it seems the price stuck and nothing happened and it became a risky and more risky situation, I prefer to just close the position, okay, and take whatever I got and wait for a new opportunity. Okay, you can see I have 3 candles, blue candles, and each one of them struggling to go up. The price didn't make it to break out this small level, and now we have a nice red one. It's just became too risky. You can see it very clear on the 5-minute chart. This situation, it's not the situation you want to be in. Okay, you want to be in this side or this side, not on this side. So I try. It didn't work, but at least I took some pips, few pips. By the way, that's called, it seems like, seems like compression. Okay, when the price doing this kind of movement and behave. Okay, it's a powerless movement. It doesn't seem like really the buyers are waking up here and push the price up. It seems like powerless movement, and you can always see it after it happened, at least for during of time. But I always prefer to be in the strong side, and that's not the strong side, at least for now. So that's why I choose. Of course, the price now react exactly to the line I just put on the chart, but that's fine. Okay. Any other pairs that you prefer to check together? By the way, even if we do not offer any commodities indices in the Fivers program, you can ask if you want to analyze any other index or commodities, just to show you how supply demand works in any market in our life. So US dollar against the yen, that will be, I did mark this level. As you can see, this is the 15-minute chart, and I did mark this level, and you can see how the price on his way to reach this level. I tell you why it's a bit risky situation, because the price really pushed from that level, but couldn't make it to create a new high above this one. So I'm not sure how strong this level. Okay. In a difference from this one from the left, you can see this demand, which the price rise up and create a new high above this one. It indicates that there is power on this level, and therefore we get the here, the first touch, you can see the first touch of this demand. Buying here, it's a good decision. Okay, here, because the price couldn't make it to create new high above this one, I'm not sure about the power of this demand. So I don't think I would take an action there, even if it looks like demand. Okay, so let's start with the dollar yen again from the higher time frames. This is the daily chart. I will clean the chart so we will be able to see something. Okay. So this is the daily chart, and I will roll down to the 4H time frame because I don't have any conclusion regards the daily chart. This is the 4H time frame, and to be honest, first of all, I believe that the price on its way to reach this top level here. I think there is supply hiding here. We will check it soon. And the reason I believe it's because the price already got here. And you can see the difference in the last movement between the buy side and the sell side. You can see how this movement looks in this one. And you can see how this movement looks in this one. Where do you think is the power? What do you believe? I mean, okay, I hope you're getting this. I hope I'm clear with this idea. The power, it seems like the power is with the buyers here and here. That's a powerless movement. But I still, I still don't have any good level that I can put my finger on and say, okay, I'm going to buy here. I mean, we had this demand in the previous, already checked 1, 2, and 3. So even if I believe that the price on its way to reach this level, it's not a signal for a buy position. We still need a good and fresh demand to buy. Okay, so that's the situation here. Go to the lower time frame and let's take the 1H time frame first of all, just to check this level here that I marked according to the 4H time frame. I think I would consider this level from here. And yes, if the price gets there, I'll sell here on the first touch of the price here. Okay. Back to the 4H time frame, just to remind you, here it is. And that will be a position with a nice potential all the way down to the last low here, and maybe even lower to this. It's not exactly demand. You can see the candles here are blue, but even according to this 4H time frame, you cannot say that the price really run away aggressively and fast from that level. But there is a level here that might hold the price for a while and maybe even lower. So, but first, let's see if the price will get to this level. Yes, this video is recorded and I think it will be uploaded in our website and YouTube channel maybe tomorrow, I think. Okay. All right, so let's roll down to the 15-minute chart. By the way, you can see a nice demand here. The price, I think, missed this demand by 2 pips maybe, but maybe the demand is here when, you know, there is a limit of how many information you can get from these charts. I mean, it cannot be always accurate by the pips. So that's the situation here with the 15-minute chart. And again, I don't see any clear opportunity. By the way, this is a great demand, which also couldn't make it to create a new high above this one. And that would be, might be the reason I wouldn't use this one, even if it looks like a great demand by definition. Okay. So nothing for the short term for this pair at the moment. You can see how it looks. And someone asked for the Nasdaq. Okay, we will check the Nasdaq before we end. I'll check first the pound against the yen and then the pound against the Swiss. So, okay, this is the pound against the yen. Let's start from the higher time frames. I think it's a bit similar to the pound against the dollar. If we take a look at the weekly chart, we are at just right to resistance level. Okay, let's roll down to the daily and even the 4H time frame. And Enrique, you ask where it will be, probably on our YouTube channel or in our blog. Okay, if you are signed up to our newsletter, you'll get it. So that's the 4H time frame. The price created a new supply here. I think we saw it in the 1H time frame. You can see how it looks. That was the first touch, even here maybe. And so far we have this reaction. But again, look at this situation and ask the questions. Are we now on the strong side? You can see how it looks. Even if you are still holding this position all the way down here, is it the strong side? Okay, and the answer is no. I really don't want to be in this kind of movement. Okay, I also believe that no one of us will hold a position that doing things like this. Maybe yes, but you know what I mean. You always scared that you're going to lose now all the way, all the profit you have, and maybe even end this position with lost, because every down movement can just immediately follow by a technical correction, as you can see. Anyway, it is not the strong side. If I was in this position, maybe I would set the stop loss here above this one, and okay, if we hit the stop loss, then at least we are in some profit, or maybe I even would close this position here. So that's the situation. Clear demand, first touch, almost breakout, but not. Okay, below this one, sorry. All right, we have this one. So on the first touch of the price will probably get some reaction here, but take in consideration, if the price get to this demand, we will be in a bearish momentum. In order to get there, the price need to change this bullish momentum to bearish. And it is not the perfect setup. I always prefer to be with the momentum. Okay, I'm not saying that we won't get some reaction from this level, but at least that's my opinion. So maybe at the bottom here, I will consider to buy, but I'm not sure about this level. Okay, any questions? Okay. So let's roll down to the lower time frames. You can see how it looks. You don't want to be in this position, in sell position. I mean, you want to be because it's in profit, but psychologically, it's really hard to stay in a position like this. Okay, that's what I mean. So even if I was a short-term trader, from now I don't see any clear opportunity from the moment this day started, this week started. You can see what's going on. I really don't like charts like this. Okay. All right, let's move to the pound against the Swiss. And here it is. Okay, interesting situation, and I'll explain why. I think it seems the price kind of developing a head and shoulders pattern, which not completed yet. That's the area of the left shoulder here. Usually when the price creates head and shoulders, it's go all the way down to check the same, almost the same level as the left shoulder. And at this time, in this case, we also have a demand here, which is more important than the pattern. So according to this chart, if the price get there, and you can see a small gap here, and many times gap represent demand or supply. If it's gap up, it's demand. So I will definitely consider to buy here on the first touch of the price, because I do believe the price, if we already got this high, then I think the price at least want to get to this supply and maybe even to the one here at the top. So if I was swing or long-term traders trading this pound against the Swiss, buying here on the first touch, that's what I would do. Okay, don't. I'll answer these questions in a minute. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's for the pound against the Swiss. And by the way, here at the top we have a very clear Quasimodo pattern. Okay, Quasimodo, it's a pattern that it's a reversal pattern that come usually, at this case, it's come after a very nice long and significant uptrend, as you can see, while the price create high, low, higher high, then lower low, sorry, a higher low and higher high. And then you can see with one movement, the price created a lower low. Okay. That situation here give us the indication that the price, this bullish momentum ends, the price now get inside the bearish zone. This price maybe starts to develop a bearish momentum. Now, usually when this situation happens, many times the price before continue down, go all the way up to check this level, which is, you can see it's supply level according to this daily chart. It's almost the same level as the what's called left shoulder here. And this setup is very good. If the price get there before continue down and will give us the opportunity to join this maybe bearish momentum. And if we are right, think about this. We are joining this momentum from the very beginning. If that happened and the price will continue this bearish momentum all the way down to this level and maybe here, we are in this train from the very beginning here at the top. That's one of the most clear advantage of this pattern. So selling here on the first touch, and according to this daily chart in the Forex time frame, we can still see this supply level at the top. But according to this Forex time frame, we can maybe consider to buy here on the first touch, and 1H time frame, 15 minutes. If I was scalper, very short-term trader, maybe I would consider to sell here. Okay, this one. That's the only thing I can see about this one. Okay, now the questions that asked here in the chat is, don't you consider any volume when analyzing the charts? No, I don't consider any volumes, because the volume that you see in the trading platform, at least from my knowledge, represent only the volume that appear in the specific liquidity provider that you are connected to. It's not really represent the volume for the all FX market in the world. The volume in the Forex market is no similar to any other market. I mean, it's huge. It's trillions of dollars every day. And from my knowledge, what you see in here not really represent the reality of the volume in the world, in this market. So I don't really, but if, at least from my experience, but if you find a good and reliable information for volume, and you know, and you find a way to combine the level that I show you now with a volume that will give you a better average of success, then check it. I always think that it's better to try to develop your system always to get better and better results. So I think you can try it. I mean, I'm not really saying it's not working, but I just give you my explanation of why I don't really consider the volume. Okay. All right. So how do I know when the pound Swiss gets to a level? It is reaching to it. Well, I don't know. I just react to the level it reach. I mean, if that's the level I choose here at the top, I'm not sure I understand this question, but if the price get there, I'll sell on the first touch. If I have the same situation at the pound dollar and the pound yen, I don't know, maybe I'll choose another one of them, but I don't think if you are opening sell position here, it will be a wise decision to open the same situation for all the pound pairs. I mean, I will take the best picture I have in front of my eyes. And this situation, the pound Swiss really give me a nice picture here, very clear one. Okay, so all right, as I promised, before we end, I want to show you someone asked for the Nasdaq. Okay, so I'll just, oh, I need to change the screen that I'm sharing. Just a few seconds, please. Okay. New share. Okay, I choose the QQQ because it's represent the Nasdaq. I mean, if you prefer the I think I should index US. All right, here is the Nasdaq. Okay. So this is the Nasdaq index of the US. And if we are considering supply and demand, I think we might find demand here. You can see this is the daily chart. We can see the reaction of this level. Okay. Let's roll down to the low. By the way, you can see it's very clear. Here at the bottom, we have a very nice demand. The price didn't get there yet from the moment created. I will roll down to the 4H time frame, and by the way, look at this situation. It's happened. I mean, I saw this situation many times. The price reacts to this level. It seems like the price a bit broke out this supply, but it's about experience. If you consider all this situation as a supply level, then you'll get the reaction. To be honest, I would probably wait for the price to get there, here, but then I would probably miss this opportunity. But that's part of the trading. Okay, so I think if I was a swing or maybe intraday trader, I'll roll down to the 1H time frame because I want to show you this supply. And I think I would consider to sell here on the first touch. Just be aware it's kind of risky, a bit risky situation. I would roll my stop loss on the first opportunity I have, because now when the price gets there, the price is bullish. If the price would get to this supply after created this down movement and then immediately correct all the way up, then the price would get to this supply and we were in a bearish momentum. That will be much perfect situation. Now the price get there as a bullish momentum. So it's a bit risky, but still it is a supply, these few small candles, and then the drop down represent exactly the picture that I'm looking for supply. And that's the 1H time frame. And I think below, let's see if we have it. I think I'll take this line. I think here or maybe here, we will find some nice demand to get some buy position from these levels. For the very short term trader, scalpers, we call it, I think the level here, maybe here, this is the 1 minute chart, will give you some reaction. The same way as this level will give you some reaction now, as you can see, which is enough for very short term or scalpers. Okay, you can see this small demand, rally, small delay, and continuation of the rally. You can see how the price get there back, and again, it's for the very short-term scalpers, whatever you call it. So I think that's all for the Nasdaq. Back to the daily charts. If the price get there, of course, it's far from the price now, but it is a great level for buy position. Okay. All right. So I think that's all for today. And thank you very much for joining us. I really enjoyed this session, and thank you for participating and ask your question and share your idea. And see you the same time tomorrow. Meanwhile, keep trading safety, manage your position, and I wish you a very successful trading week. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.